Christy Nelson here with your connection and a look at what's happening in North Texas. We're going to start with a look at the weather. Meteorologist Kevin Smith is here. It is beautiful out there, very spring-like.
Yeah, another nice day across North Texas. No complaints, even though the calendar says February, it's feeling more like about, mid-April across the area. So live view of our tower cam takes us into Denton County at the courthouse, showing nothing but that blue sky. Get out and enjoy it. Now, the reason for it, high pressure still off to the east of us. We have that southerly flow around high pressure, which is bringing us mild conditions for your Tuesday. And also with that southerly flow, that's bringing in that mountain cedar, which means high levels not only today, but tomorrow as well as into Thursday. So a high temperature of 78 degrees and Omaha is at 62, so well above that, but exploring that sunshine. And meanwhile, we'll start to see the 60s, 3 degrees as we travel toward midnight. Next 3 days, we're 78 into your Wednesday. Wouldn't be surprised if we hit 80 degrees Thursday. We're at 76 degrees. And on Friday, a temperature of 70 degrees with a weak front. So be surprised with that. Over to you.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Kevin. First responders in DeSoto were honored last night for saving a woman's life on Christmas Eve. The 77-year-old woman collapsed and was clinically dead, but thanks to a team effort, including from her own grandson, she was brought back to life. NBC5's Keenan Willard shows us how the family got to thank their heroes.
At DeSoto City Hall, a standing ovation for a group of firefighters, 911 operators, and EMTs. Because of them, 77-year-old Gail Ward is still here today.
Just to be able to thank them in person, obviously they're in the middle of doing their job, and they were certainly professional and saved her life without a doubt.
On Christmas Eve, Jeff Ward was heading to his mother's home on Ricky Canyon Drive. He soon got a call from his brother. Gail Ward had collapsed. She wasn't breathing and didn't have a pulse.
I really thought that we had lost my mom that night. Yeah, I thought that, there was no way that a Christmas miracle was going to occur, but it did.
When Ward arrived, he found firefighters doing compressions, taking over for his 19-year-old nephew, who had to be taught CPR over the phone by a 911 operator. After 8 minutes, Gail Ward had a pulse again, and an ambulance arrived to take her to the hospital. She was put in a medically induced coma, but survived. And months later, she's now back home with her family.
What an honor tonight to be able to present life-saving awards to our firefighters and our dispatchers at the SWRCC.
The first responders who came to Ward's aid received the city's Lifesaver Award, and Jeff Ward got to thank them for giving him his mom back.
I just know that, my mom, having lived here over 50 years, that she's very proud and very thankful of all the people that showed up that night, and she has her life to thank those folks for.
In DeSoto, Keenan Willard, NBC5.
February is American Heart Month, raising awareness of cardiovascular health, and it's the international mission of the American Heart Association. The agency is headquartered here in Dallas, and it has a global team traveling the world to teach life-saving CPR skills in underdeveloped countries. And these are some photos from a recent trip to Egypt. Since 2011, their team has helped establish thousands of training centers, training 22 million people each year in more than 110 countries, especially in remote places with no hospital access. The need for life-saving skills is vital, and this spring, they'll head to Japan.
Cardiovascular disease and cardiac arrest is a leading cause of death around the world. So it's one of the things that unfortunately unites us, and the need for emergency cardiovascular care is universal. And it's what's brought us to work outside the United States.
And the American Heart Association generates funding outside of the U.S. to support its global training. It's also part of the Acute Care Action Network, a global alliance with the World Health Organization to expand emergency care to lower-income countries. Today's show host Savannah Guthrie has a new book that hits shelves today, the faith-based book titled Mostly What God Does. Savannah says in one of the most vulnerable things she's ever done, and we've got the chance to sit down with her to discuss that book.
Whether we realize it or not, over time, I think God is working in us and through us, and that sometimes we learn these lessons we have to learn through the very thing we feared most. And reading those old journals kind of brought that home to me.
And you can pick up that book today in stores and watch the entire interview on our website at nbcdfw.com. Thank you so much for catching up with us.